nice and warm, and then we're going to start working into some chairs and some back bends, and then we'll start getting into the actual sun salutation to get the heart rate up. Focus mainly in today's class is going to be some upper body strength. We're going to look at the crow position, but we're going to use that towards the end when we're really nice and warm, and then finish with some core stuff as well. This can be fairly challenging first 15-20 minutes at least. So just take the feet, like I said, shoulder width apart. Just take a moment, reset the body. So pull the shoulder blades back, bring the head back on top of the neck, nice neutral position. And then in your own time, just inhale the hands up towards the ceiling, little bit of a stretch at the top, and then just exhale, release the hands, tuck the chin, roll the shoulders forward, and just one vertebrae at a time. We're going to go really, really slow down into this forward fold, and then bend the knees as much as you need to. So we just try and find the mat. Just fingertips for now, head hangs heavy, and then inhale, rolling really slow as we come up. So we want to think each vertebrae is stacking back on top of each other, shoulders are staying rounded at the front, and then once we get right back up to the top, the shoulder blades come back, chin lifts, and we take that gaze back towards the front of the room. Inhale, hands once again, a little stretch at the top, and exhale, tuck the chin, rolling, nice slow movement, all the way down to the mat. Exhaling as we do, pause at the bottom, head hangs heavy, and inhale, rolling all the way back up. Shoulder blades back, lift the chin, take the gaze forward. Inhale at the top, a little more of a stretch this time. Actually take the fingertips up towards the ceiling, lift the shoulders, feel the rib cage raise, and exhale, release the hands, tuck the chin, rolling all the way down, real slow, down into that forward fold, and inhale all the way back up to standing. So we're going to add a bit of intensity to the stretches. So we're going to inhale the fingertips up, come up onto our tiptoes, and just take a really deep inhale as we raise the chest, extend the fingertips, big stretch now, and exhale, drop down onto the heels, rolling all the way back down. Let the head hang heavy. When we're down into that forward fold, just take your forefinger and index finger, wrap them around the big toe, and use that to keep the body and the head down as we try and push the knees back, extending the hips up towards the ceiling. Hold in there for 3, for 2, for 1. Release the big toe, inhale all the way back up to standing. Shoulder blades come back, reset that posture. Deep inhale to take the hands up, and then come up onto the tiptoes. One more big inhale, really stretch through the shoulders up towards the ceiling, and exhale, drop down onto the heels, hands come down, rolling all the way back down into that forward fold. If you want to take the big toe again, go ahead. If you want to add a bit more intensity, we can try and slide the hands right underneath the soles of the feet. So I've got toes up against my wrists, head hangs down, and inhale to try and straighten the legs, holding for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Bend the knees, slide the hands back out, inhale yourself all the way back up to standing. Okay, so we're going to start moving into these chair postures. So the first time we're just going to sit down into that chair pose. We're just going to bend the knees slightly until I can just about see the ends of my toes in front of my kneecaps, and just take the hands kind of to heart center. So wherever feels good, and just sit down. So it's kind of hovering slightly above that chair, and straight away we should feel the quads, glutes really active, really strong in this position. Just hold in here for 3, for 2, for 1. Stand yourself up. We're then just going to hit a back bend. So inhale the hands up towards the ceiling, stretch at the top, and just start to take the thumbs, pointing them back towards the back of the room, opening up the chest, pulling through the lats, just pulling them back. Inhaling to lift the hands, exhale to take it back a little bit further. Inhale to lift the hands, exhale it back a little bit further, and then inhale, take yourself all the way forward, and exhale, sit yourself down into that chair pose. So still take a moment, check that you can still see the ends of your toes just in front of the knees, because that means you've gone as far forward as you need to. And just take a second, sit back onto the heels, give the toes a little bit of a wiggle so we can set our posture. And then just try and take your gaze forward to the front of the room. Quads should be really warm doing this. Hold in again for another 3, for 2, for 1. Straighten the legs out, drop the arms. Inhale, take that stretch up towards the ceiling, and exhale, take that back bend. So I've got the palms of my hands facing towards each other. I'm trying to pull my biceps into the sides of my ears. Spread the fingertips nice and wide. Point the thumbs towards the back of the room. Inhale to stretch the hands a little bit higher. Exhale to take them a little bit further back. Inhale to stretch them a little bit higher. Exhaling it back. And inhale to come all the way back to center. Exhale, release the hands, find that prayer pose, and sit back down into that chair posture. Final chair for now. Check that you're in the right place. Give the toes a little bit of a wiggle. Hold it for 3, for 2, for 1. Just inhale yourself up to standing. Just take the hands into the small of the back. So I've got fingertips pointing down towards the ground. We're going to take a deeper back bend. And to do that, we want to make sure that we've got support in the lower back. So I'm going to inhale to lift the chin, lift the chest, and exhale, push the hips forward as I try and take my gaze up towards the ceiling, pulling my elbows back behind me as well. So any pain in the lower back, just back off really, really carefully. But we can inhale to raise the chest, exhale to take that gaze a little bit further. Inhale to raise the chest, exhale looking back even more. And then inhale, squeeze the glutes, squeeze the quads, lift yourself back up to the middle, release the hands, give the shoulders a shake out, give the legs a shake out. So we should now be quite warm in the posterior, but also quite warm in the anterior as well, because we've done our chair postures, so our legs are nice and warm. We've opened up the chest a little bit. We're now ready to start working into our sun salutations. So we're going to go through the sun salutations, building up the intensity as we do so. And then we're going to be finishing the sun salutations with our kind of Ashtanga style, which is quite intense. So come towards the front of your mat, take the feet to roughly shoulder width apart. Inhale, hands up towards the ceiling. Exhale, release the hands down onto the mat. And then just step yourself back to find that high plank. And then drop the knees, drop the chin, drop the chest as we exhale down for our first little chaturanga. Untop the toes, inhale, push yourself all the way up to find that up dog. Shoulders come away from the ears, gaze towards the top of the ceiling. Inhale to tuck the toes, lift the hips. Exhale, push yourself back to find our first downward dog. So we're going to start by just walking the heels into the mat, finding a little bit of space as we do so. Nice gentle stretches. We're going to be working through quite a few sun salutations, so we don't need to be pushing it too hard just yet. We're going to get a lot more movement as we warm up. Have a little bit of play, transferring the weight between the feet and the hands. Trying to think about that analogy of two playing cards pushed against each other, balancing out one another. Take the hips out to the side, have a little stretch there. Over to the other side as well. And then just take yourself back to center. Take the gaze towards the front of the mat as we walk our feet slowly all the way back up and back to our forward fold. Inhale all the way back up to standing. Okay, inhale, hands up towards the ceiling. Exhale, release them down into the forward fold. Inhale to step back to high plank. Exhale, we can drop the knees if we need to, or just lower all the way down for chaturanga. Flat on the mat, untop the toes, and inhale, raise yourself up to find that upward dog. Tuck the toes, lift the hips. Exhale, push back, downward facing dog. Again, take a moment, walk the feet into the mat, finding a little bit more space now. Trying to work those heels a little bit closer to the mat each time. Just going from one side and then over to the other. And then take the gaze towards the front of the room. Inhale as we walk our feet all the way forward, back into that forward fold. And inhale all the way back up to standing. Shoulder blades come back, gaze towards the front of the room. Okay, we're going up the intensity now. Inhale, hands up towards the ceiling. Exhale, hands come down into forward fold. Inhale to step or jump back into high plank. And lower down for chaturanga. Inhale, push up to find up dog. Tuck the toes, lift the hips. Exhale, downward facing dog. Holding here for 3 deep breaths in through the nose. And exhaling out through the nose as well. Still walk the heels if you want to. Inhale to take the gaze towards the front of the room. And exhale, step or jump all the way back up into our forward fold. And inhale all the way back up to standing. Inhale, hands up towards the ceiling. Exhale, release the hands down into our forward fold. Inhale to step or jump back into high plank. Exhale, lower for chaturanga. Inhale, push up to find up dog. Tuck the toes, lift the hips. Exhale, downward facing dog. Holding for 3 deep breaths. Inhale to take the gaze to the front of the room. Exhale, up into forward fold. And inhale all the way back up to standing. Release the shoulders. Inhale, hands up towards the top. Exhale, release down into forward fold. Inhale to step or jump back into high plank. And lower for chaturanga. Inhale, press up to find up dog. And exhale, push back to find that downward facing dog. Hold in here again for 3, for 2, for 1. Inhale, gaze towards the front of the room. Exhale, step or jump forward into our forward fold. And inhale all the way up to standing. So we're going to add a little bit more intensity to this as we go through. So listen out for the changes. Inhale, hands up towards the top. Exhale, come down into our forward fold. Inhale, come up to find our chair pose. So pausing here for 3, for 2, for 1. Straighten the legs. Exhale, hands come down onto the mat. Inhale, jump back to find chaturanga. Exhale, lowering down. Inhale, push up to find up dog. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips, push back, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg comes up towards the ceiling. Exhale, left leg towards the front of the mat. Inhale, lift up, hands high, into our forward lunge. Hold it for 3, for 2, for 1. Exhale, release the hands down onto the mat. Step the left foot back. High plank, inhale here. Exhale, lower for chaturanga. Inhale, press up to find up dog. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, push back, downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg this time. Exhale, right foot to the front of the mat. Inhale, lift up into our front lunge. Hold it again for 3, for 2, for 1. Exhale, hands down to the front of the mat. Step the right leg back. Exhale, down to the mat. Inhale, press up to find up dog. Tuck the toes, lift the hips. Exhale, push back, downward facing dog. This is going to start to get hard. Inhale deep through the nose. Exhale deep out. Gaze towards the front of the mat as we inhale to step or jump all the way forward into our forward fold. Inhale yourself all the way up to standing. Pull the shoulder blades back. We're going to go through that one more time. Inhale, hands up towards the ceiling. Exhale, release the hands down into forward fold. Inhale, come up to our chair pose. Sit deep into it. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the quads. Hold in here for 3, for 2, for 1. Exhale, release the hands down onto the mat. Inhale, step or jump back to high plank. Exhale, lower for chaturanga. Inhale, press up to find up dog. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, push back, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg to the ceiling. Exhale, left leg to the front of the mat. Inhale, raise all the way up. Into our forward lunge. Holding here for 3, for 2, for 1. Exhale, hands down onto the mat. Step the left leg back. Inhale at the top here. Exhale, lower for chaturanga. Inhale, press up to find up dog. And exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips. Downward facing dog. Same on the right hand side. Inhale, right leg to the ceiling. Exhale, right leg to the front of the mat. Inhale all the way up into that front lunge. Hold it again for 3, for 2, for 1. Exhale, release the hands down onto the mat. Step the right leg back. High plank. Deep inhale. And exhale, lower for chaturanga. Inhale, press up to find up dog. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, push back, downward facing dog. Hold in here for 3 deep breaths. This is the last one of the posture. Inhale the gaze towards the front of the room, and exhale, step or jump your way all the way forward into that forward fold, and inhale yourself all the way up to standing. Pull the shoulder blades back. Release the hands, give the arms a little bit of a shake out, give the legs a shake out as well. Relax here for just a moment in our mountain pose. So heart rate should be up fairly high. We should also be really nice and warm. Shoulders, glutes, quads, all the muscles that we're going to be using as we start going through the posture. Keep coming back to the breath when things start getting hard. If we're not breathing, then we're not going to be able to get the oxygen to the muscles to be able to keep going. So We're going to have a look at building a little bit more upper body strength for that transition between downward facing dog, jumping forward into the forward fold. So we're going to work through a very slow vinyasa to get back into our downward dog, and then we're going to start moving into some of that strengthening stuff. So really controlled movements, just inhale the hands up towards the ceiling, exhale, release the hands down onto the mat, into our forward fold, and just step the legs back this time into high plank. Exhale, lower for chaturanga. Inhale, push up to find up dog. Tuck the toes with the hips, push back, downward facing dog. So take a moment to really set yourself here. We want to try and take the hands shoulder width apart, make sure that the fingers are nicely wide, nicely spread widely, so we've got a wide spread distribution of weight. And we're just going to inhale to push the hips back, exhale to try and take the chest down towards the thighs, inhale to push back, and exhale to release the chest a little bit more. So all we're going to try and do here is tip ourselves forward into that high plank, and just exhale down for chaturanga. Inhale to push back up, and then push back at the same time. So it's just transitioning between those two positions. So we're going to try and do 5 or so of those. So inhaling to tip forward, exhale to lower, inhale to push back up, and come all the way back. Exhale at the top. Inhale to tip forward, exhale to lower. Inhale to push ourselves up and push back. Exhale here. Inhale to tip forward. Exhale to lower. Inhale to push up and back. And exhale at the top. Inhale to tip forward. Exhale to lower. Inhale to push up and back. Exhale at the top. And drop the knees down onto the mat. So we're going to keep the hands in roughly the same position as we just sit our hips back down onto the heels, into our child's pose, and just feel that release through the shoulders into the lats. So with all of these push work that we're doing, if we need to, we can just drop the knees at some point. So in the same way as if we were doing our kind of scaled version of a push-up, we drop the knees. That's exactly the same as what we're going to try and do here. But obviously, we want to try and do a few without doing that, and then try and build up that strength as we're going through it. So that's 5 of our kind of basic postures. We're then going to try and add a little bit of intensity to it. If we need to stay with the first one, then we stay with the first. If we want to add a little bit more fun, then we're going to have a go at these. Or alternatively, we can try and do it for a few reps and then do the other one, see how it goes. So we're going to try and do 5 of these. So in your own time, spread your fingers nice and wide, lift the hips, push back, and find that downward facing dog. So we're going to try this, but with only one leg in contact with the mat. So we're going to lift that left leg. Don't worry about how high it is at the moment. Just get a point where it feels comfortable. And inhale yourself into that plank position. Exhale to lower ourselves down. Try and keep that foot raised the whole way. And inhale to push ourselves up and back into that one-legged downward dog. Keep the left leg raised. Inhale yourself forward. Exhale to lower. Inhale, push up and back. And exhale at the top there. Inhale to tip forward. Exhale to lower. Inhale to raise and push back. Inhale to tip forward. Exhale to lower. Inhale, push it up. Exhale, top there. Inhale, tip forward. Exhale to drop. Inhale, push it up. Push it back. Exhale at the top. Drop the left leg. Drop both knees. We're going to take 3 deep breaths in child's pose before we come back up. Raise the right leg and do the same cycle on the opposite side. Okay, lifting yourself up. Find that downward dog position. Inhale the right leg up. Deep inhale to tip forward. Exhale to lower. Inhale to push up and back. Exhale at the top. Inhale to tip forward. Exhale to lower. Inhale, push it up and back. Exhale at the top. Inhale to tip forward. Exhale to lower. Inhale, push it up and back. Exhale there, sorry. Inhale, tip it forward. Exhale to lower. Inhale, push it up and back. Exhale at the top. One more. Inhale, forward. Exhale to lower. Inhale, push it up. Push it back. Exhale, drop the right leg, drop the knees. Sit back down into that child's pose. Release the hands, walk the fingertips forward. Feel the stretch through the chest, through the shoulders as well. So that's one of our most advanced kind of push positions, because we've only got one foot in contact with the floor. We're working the core fairly hard there as well. But the idea is we're starting to gain that upper body strength, which is obviously really important for a lot of those poses. So we're going to have a look in just a second at working into a slightly more advanced version of Chaturanga. The good thing with the Chaturanga is we can just control the push as much as we need to, try and keep those elbows tucked, but at any time we can drop the knees, or alternatively, we're only that far away from the floor. So we just control it as much as we can, and then just release ourselves down onto the floor. So it's up to you how intense you make this. So in your own time, we're going to find ourselves in a high plank position. So again, set the hands towards the front of the mat, and then just raise yourself so we're in that high plank. Take a moment to check that you've got your hands in a position that's going to be comfortable. And then we're just going to exhale slowly, keeping the elbows tucked in towards the body until we're completely flat on the floor. At that point there, we're going to untuck the toes, and we're going to inhale to try and raise the feet and raise the hands in our kind of Superman position. Inhale to arch up, exhale to release there. And then inhale, push ourselves all the way back up into that high plank. Exhaling to lower ourselves down for Chaturanga. Inhale to raise up. Exhale to lower. Inhale to push yourself up again. Exhale, lower yourself down. Inhale to hold up. Exhale to release. Inhale to push yourself up. Exhale to lower. Inhale, feet off the floor, thighs off the floor, and hands come down for the exhale. Inhale, push yourself up, final round. Exhale to lower. Inhale to come off. Exhale to come to the mat. Inhale to push yourself up. Drop the knees, send the hips back, take a deep breath there. So what we're going to have a go at doing is adding just one more stage of intensity to that, and that's we're going to look to just try and hold that Superman posture for a little bit longer. So we're going to do a full cycle of breath there rather than just one inhale. So just listen to the breath change. If you want to work through it at your own pace, that's absolutely fine. Go if it feels good for you. When we're hitting that Superman position, we basically just want the groin in contact with the floor. So I'm raising the chest, the core's coming back as well, but I'm also raising as much of the front of my quad as I can as possible. So this is a really good strengthener for the spinal erector muscles, and it's also forming that kind of reverse hollow hold posture that's really important for any gymnastic work. So it's a really good one to be doing regardless of what your abilities might be. So take the hands back into that position, spread the fingertips nice and wide, lift yourself up and find that tabletop, find that high plank pose. Inhale at the top here, and exhale to lower yourself all the way down for that Chaturanga. Inhale, raise yourself up, take the hands, shoulders, chest, thighs away. Exhale to top. Inhale one more time, and exhale, release the hands down, back onto the mat. Inhale, push yourself all the way back up. Exhale, lower yourself down onto the mat. Inhale to raise. Exhale to the top. Inhale. Exhale, release. Inhale to push yourself up. Exhale to lower down. Inhale to raise. Exhale at the top. Inhaling one more time. Exhale to release. Inhale to push up. Got two more rounds. Exhale to lower. Inhale to raise. Exhale at the top. Inhale to raise. Exhale to lower. Inhale, push up. Final one. Exhale to release. Inhale to raise, holding. Exhaling. Inhale at the top. Exhale to lower. Inhale to push out. And exhale, drop the knees, send the hips back, push back. Release the shoulders, release the lats. Relax here. Deep inhales through the nose, filling the body up with the oxygen that you need. So having gone through that, we should feel that the lower back is really quite pumped, really warm. Chest is quite warm as well. So we're going to have a really deep stretch. It's quite difficult to get into, but when you get into it, it's worthwhile. So just have a little look, because it's quite hard to explain, but you should be able to get into it. It's as if we've gone all the way flat down onto the floor, into that chaturanga pose. And then what I'm going to try and do is take my right leg, heel towards my butt, grab hold of that right foot, and then going to twist slightly to the side, take that left foot into my left hand, and then I'm going to inhale to push my feet away from my hands, lifting the chin, lifting the chest, extending all the way through there. And then just exhale to release ourselves down, release the feet back down, and we're going to relax on the mat. So we're going to work through that a few times. Take your time getting into the posture. If you go in too fast, you're going to cramp. So just go a little bit slowly, twisting from side to side. It's not going to be the most elegant to enter, but we'll get there when we can. Okay, so find yourself into that posture. So tuck the right heel up into the glutes. Get hold of that right foot, however feels comfortable. Twist slightly onto the right shoulder. Lift that left leg into the left hand. And when you're steady, ready, take your gaze towards the front of the mat. Inhale, try and lift the chin, chest off of the mat. Push the feet back. The harder you push the feet, the deeper the stretch. You can feel it into the biceps, into the shoulders. Hold in here for 3, for 2, for 1. Drop the thighs back down, drop the face down onto the mat. Try and keep hold of the feet though, because you don't want to have to keep going backwards and forwards on this stretch. Deep inhale through the nose, deep exhale, and get yourself ready and set. Inhale to lift the chin, lift the chest, push the feet back into the palms of the hands. Hold in again for 3, for 2, for 1. Relax back down onto the mat. We've got one more of these to do. Should feel a really, really deep stretch here through the quads, into the biceps, into the shoulders. Relaxing, one more breath. Get yourself set and inhale to lift. Keep fighting this. We're going to go longer this time. Hold it for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Relax the feet, release them this time. Hands come down towards the front of the mat. Feet come down back behind you. And then just lift yourself back and up, tipping back down into a child's pose. Let the forehead, chin, chest relax down onto the mat. It's a really, really intense stretch there. But it should feel quite good. Okay, so staying in the child's pose for just a little bit longer, because we're now going to have a little bit of play with our crow. So in your own time, bring yourself back up onto your knees. For those of you that have already done your crow, we're just going to have a play trying to accumulate a bit of time. For those of you that are new to the crow posture, we're going to have a little look at how to get into it. So the easiest way to get into crow is to come down into kind of squat position. For me, I'm on my tips of my toes because I can't get my heels onto the mat. And all I'm going to do is place my hands flat on the floor, about a foot away from the end of my toes. I'm going to try and push my elbows into the sides of my knees, whilst I'm also pushing my knees into the sides of my elbows. I'm going to come up onto my tiptoes, and then I'm just going to try and balance at the top here. So what I've got to do is actually squeeze into my biceps, into the backs of my elbows, whilst pushing out at the same time. Or I might try and push my elbows, the back of my tricep, into the front of my knees. And this is our bent arm crow posture. So we're just going to take a bit of time here, just accumulating as much as we can. We might come forward, tip onto one foot, hold there, set ourselves back, tip ourselves forward, come onto there, and tip ourselves back. Or we might want to tip all the way forward and take both feet off, not try and tip forward that far, and then just float for a little bit. So we've got the timer running in here. We're going to just keep going. You guys just playing backwards and forwards, whatever feels good. We've got to do another minute of this, accumulating it. So set your hands out nice and wide. Inhale yourself up into that crow pose. Hold in for as long as you're able to. Really squeeze the core here as well. And just relax back when you're finished. Give the hands a little bit of a shake, move the hips, and just transition backwards and forwards. And we've got another 40 odd seconds of play. So just keep practicing. So the idea here is that we're just accumulating time in the posture. At some point, we're going to hit that perfect crow, and we're just going to be there for as long as we need to be. Another 20 seconds of play. Okay, give it one more try. And release that there. Give the wrists a good shake, a little bit of a roll, a little bit of a massage. It does put a lot of pressure onto those. So we're going to look at just one more posture here before we get into some core work, and that is our straight armed crow, which would really be called our crane. So the straight armed crane is more challenging than the crow, but it's something we're going to have a play with, and we're going to see if we can get there. The problem with the crane is it's straight armed. So rather than bending the elbows and tucking the back of the elbow into the knees, the arms stay straight, and we have to push the back, the tricep into the front of the knee. So to get into this posture, we kind of have to stand ourselves up, walk ourselves slightly forward until we've got that contact point, and then just try and push through the mat. So for me, it's a real issue with the flexibility of my feet, my ankles, to get into this pose, and I'm not going to be able to lift my feet off here. So just take a moment, straighten the arms, push the mat away as hard as you can, and try and find that contact point with the knees into the back of the arms. And then just relax, give the arms a little bit of a shake out, and we're just going to work into that another 3 times. So place the hands flat onto the floor, straighten the arms, engage the shoulders, engage the lats, and then just try and push off through the mat, finding that contact point with the back of the knees. Hold in again for 3, for 2, for 1. Relax there. 2 more of those. Hands down, come onto the mat. Straighten the arms. Push the knees into the back of the triceps, into the back of the, knees into the triceps. Hold in again for 3, for 2, for 1. Relax there, give the arms a shake out. I find it's really hard through the shoulders, so I'm basically pushing against an unmovable object. Hands flat on the mat, straighten the arms, elbows straight, knees into the back, and lifting slightly, holding for 3, for 2, for 1. Relax there, stand yourself up, give the shoulders a shake out, give the legs a shake out, relaxing for just a moment. And then we're just going to sit ourselves down onto the mat so we can start working into some of our core stuff. So the idea with the crane, getting into that, is it's building a little bit of that stability, finding that position, so that eventually at some point we can just lift off and the toes will just come off of the floor. Obviously that's going to take a little bit of practice. So we're going to work into the core along with the hip flexors. So to start with, we're just going to sit up in our kind of L-sit position. If you want to take the fingertips so they're pointing to the side of the mat, that's fine. If you feel more comfortable with them pointing towards the front of the mat, entirely up to you. And we're just going to start by doing 10 raises of the right leg. So the left foot is staying flat on the floor. Inhale the right leg up, exhaling it down. Inhale up, exhale down. And that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you should really feel that in the hip flexor on the right hand side. Same on the left. Inhale to raise, exhale to lower. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Relax the legs, give them a little bit of a shake out. So hip flexors should be feeling quite warm. We're going to have a go at turning that into something a little bit more useful, and that's practicing our actual seated L-sit. So to get into the L-sit, we need to place the hands down flat on the mat beside us. I would go fingertips pointing forward, but if you feel more comfortable, fingertips pointing to the side, go ahead. And we're going to try and raise both feet, and then we're going to try and lift off from the mat. So it might be that the feet just drop down, and we just raise up, taking a few inches off the floor there. Hold in if we can. For 3, for 2, for 1. Relax yourself back down. So I've got to work harder at engaging my quads, keeping that position as I inhale up. So we're going to have another go at that. It might work better if you lean back slightly to find that counterbalance. So try and find that floating L-sit, and up and up. Hold it for 3, for 2, for 1. Relaxing down. Give the shoulders a shake out. So it doesn't matter if you're not really getting any air time here. It's just the fact that you're finding that posture starting to work into the position. So one more of those. I'm going to leave my heels on the floor this time and just raise up. Okay, so inhale to raise for 3, for 2, for 1. Exhale to lower. Release the hands, give them a shake out. So find a little bit of hip flexor work. We're going to take both hands, so they're pointing sideways this time, so fingertips pointing out sideways, and we're just taking both feet up. So we're going to lean, for me, lean back slightly this time. So inhale to raise, exhale to lower. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Relax the feet, and in your own time, just release yourself down and flat onto the mat. That's the hard work done. That's our hip flexors and core stuff finished. So we're just going to work into a few deep stretches to finish off with today. So staying flat on the mat, just walk the heels up towards the bum until we can just about touch the back of the heels with our fingertips. Allow the hands to just sit comfortably by the side of the body. And we're just going to exhale, twisting onto the right hand side. So my right knee is going down towards the floor. Left shoulder stays flat on the mat. And inhale, pull those knees back up to center. Exhale, allow them to come over onto the left hand side. Inhale back to the middle. Exhale to release to the right. Inhale to the middle. Exhale to the left. Inhale to the middle. Exhale to the right. Inhale to the middle. Final one. Exhale onto the left hand side. And inhale back up to the middle. Take the soles of the feet together and allow both knees to fall out to the side. And just let gravity do the work here. Both knees pushing back. If you want to try and push the heels up towards the groin, you'll make the stretch a little bit more intense. And just exhaling to let the knees drop out to the side. Okay, slowly bring both knees back up together. Again, check that the heels are roughly within touching distance of the hands. And we're just going to straighten the right leg out all the way in front of us. And then inhale that left leg up and take it over onto the right hand side. Really plant that left shoulder flat on the mat. And we should feel that stretch all the way up the back of the left hamstring into the lower back as well. And it doesn't matter where the left foot actually reaches. As long as we keep that left shoulder down, the moment we turn the left shoulder and raise it off the mat, we lose the stretch. It might be the left foot is already on the floor and we can try and walk it higher. It might be it's just floating somewhere in the air and we just need to wait for gravity to do its thing. Okay, inhale that left leg back, plant the sole of the left foot down so the knee stays bent. Inhale the right leg up to join it. Exhale, left leg goes to straight. And then inhale the right leg across, extending it across the body, planting the right shoulder flat on the mat again. And you don't have to keep the leg straight the whole way through. If you want to bend the knee, you're still getting the majority of the stretch. Okay, inhale that right knee back to the center. Lift the left leg up to meet it. So we have both knees bent about 45 degrees. And we're just going to place both palms flat on the floor either side. Inhale the knees up to 90 degrees. And then if we're feeling good, we can extend both feet up towards the ceiling and then push back into the palms of our hands to come up onto the shoulders as we take a shoulder stand. So we can then place the hands on the base of the spine. Elbows are staying in contact with the mat, forming a kind of stand so that we can just push the feet up. And we should feel the blood running down the legs, into the upper body, into the heart, into the brain, really helping with that recovery. And if we're feeling good, we can start to take the toes towards the back of the mat as we take our plow pose, feeling that stretch through the hamstrings into the lower back. And just inhale the feet all the way back up to the center. And then exhale, slowly bring the knees down towards the chest. And then release the hands back onto the floor as we release the lower back down. Try and keep the knees bent at 90 degrees. And then we're going to try and take both hands around the front of the shins, pull the shins in, and just slight rocking motion side to side. A little bit of massage into the spine and erector muscles. All that Superman work we did earlier. And then just come back to the middle and slowly start to build up that rock forwards and back. And then in your own time, tip yourself forward towards the front of the mat. If you're feeling good, take the cross-legged posture. If not, whatever feels good seated for you. And we'll just finish with 3 deep breaths. And we're done for today. So find your posture, lift the chest, lift the chin, and inhale, hands up to the ceiling. Exhale, release the hands down. Inhale the hands up. Exhale to release. Final one. Inhaling the hands up. And exhale to release there. And that is us done for today.